6ix9ine's girl found dead. The streets are in shock. And now, shocking new footage has surfaced showing 6ix9ine moments before the tragedy unfolded.
Man, all your dad, homie. I don't give a fuck who I'm talking about. All of them.
Talking about?
You and your dad, homie.
The city never sleeps, and in the underbelly of flashing lights and whispered secrets, chaos was waiting to strike. At the center of it all stood Daniel Hernandez. The world knew him better as Tekashi 6ix9ine, the rainbow-haired rapper who lived louder than anyone else, loved and hated in equal measure, a man who built his fame on controversy and thrived on the edge of danger. For years, his name was tied to drama, beef, betrayal, money, and power, but on this particular night, things turned darker than even his wildest stories. The girl who was always seen by his side, his partner in laughter fights, luxury nights, and flashing paparazzi cameras, suddenly became the focus of a tragedy no one expected. She was gone, murdered cold, in a moment that shook not only Tekashi's world, but the streets that always whispered his name. News didn't break slowly, it exploded. Twitter feeds caught fire, Instagram blogs pushed theories, TikTok filled with conspiracy edits, and YouTube videos analyzing every frame of leaked footage went viral within hours. But to really understand how we got here, you have to step back, rewind, and trace the path that led to that single night when Tekashi's loud world fell silent. Tekashi's rise was not ordinary. He wasn't a polished superstar groomed by labels. He was raw chaos in motion, a kid from Brooklyn who realized that shock value sells faster than talent alone. His rainbow hair, face tattoos, and aggressive delivery weren't just choices. They were weapons, ways to make himself unforgettable in a sea of rappers chasing clout. But the same tools that built him also drew danger like blood in the water. His circle grew fast, filled with people who wanted a piece of the fame, and his enemies grew faster. People he disrespected, people he exposed, people who felt Tekashi owed them. Somewhere in the middle of this storm was her, Ariella, the girl who rarely spoke in interviews, who wasn't chasing the spotlight, yet ended up in every headline just for standing next to him. Friends said she grounded him, enemies said she was just another accessory in his world of chaos, but to Tekashi, she was his constant. The footage from that final night showed them together, smiling, moving through neon-lit streets, unaware that fate was seconds away from tearing everything apart. What looks normal in one angle takes on a sinister edge when replayed later. Slow the tape down, and you notice shadows moving just a little too close, a car circling the block more than once, eyes watching every step. At the time, nobody thought twice. After all, Tekashi had lived with threats for years. Death threats weren't new, ambushes weren't rare, paranoia was part of his brand. But this time, it wasn't just a warning. A few blocks later, it happened fast. Tires screeched, doors slammed, and the sharp crack of gunfire shattered the night. People scattered like birds under attack, screams mixing with sirens that followed too late. When the smoke cleared, Tekashi was alive but shaken. Ariella wasn't. In seconds, a life was gone. And the city had one more unsolved mystery soaked in blood. The media went into frenzy. Some headlines called it revenge. Others called it a message. Some whispered it was a setup from within his own circle. Because if history has taught anything, it's that in Tekashi's world, enemies don't always wear masks. Sometimes they sit at your own table. Theories spun fast. Old gang ties resurfaced in conversations. Names of former allies turned rivals appeared in comment sections. Was it the 9 Trey Bloods, the same crew he once ran with before courtrooms and betrayals turned them against each other? Was it a rival rapper holding onto grudges deeper than music? Or was it something closer, something personal, something money or clout couldn't fix? Fans divided instantly, some mourning Ariella as an innocent victim, others accusing Tekashi of dragging her into a storm that was always waiting to explode. But one truth was undeniable. For the first time, Tekashi seemed vulnerable, broken, even haunted. In interviews before, he laughed off threats, joked about being untouchable, wore his enemies' hate like jewelry. But after that night, silence wrapped around him. He vanished from clubs, skipped appearances, disappeared from social feeds. Those who saw him described a man different from the loud character online, A man moving like shadows were still chasing him. Meanwhile, the internet became a courtroom. Fans broke down the footage frame by frame, pointing at figures in hoodies, pausing at license plates, enhancing blurry faces, all convinced they could solve the puzzle before the cops. YouTube conspiracy channels racked up millions of views, TikTok edits turned tragedy into trends, and Twitter threads ran like detective novels. Yet no one could agree on a single truth. Was Ariella the target, or was 6ix9ine the message, and she was simply caught in it? Police reports said little, witnesses said less, and those who might have known the truth weren't talking. Because in this world, silence isn't weakness. It's survival. What made it worse was the timing. 6ix9ine had just started talking about music again, teasing comebacks, dropping hints at collaborations, and for a brief moment, it looked like he was trying to rebuild a career that prison time, lawsuits, and endless beef had shattered. Ariella was supposed to be part of that new chapter, the woman who stood next to him as he reintroduced himself to a world that never really forgave him. Instead, she became a headline no one could ignore, the center of a storm that would follow 6ix9ine forever. For weeks after, murals appeared in corners of Brooklyn, painted candles lined sidewalks, and hashtags flooded timelines. Yet with every tribute came another layer of questions. Why was she there? Who wanted her gone? Was it really about her? Or was it 6ix9ine all along? Some insiders whispered that she had been asking him to step back, to move away from the chaos, that she wanted him out of the cycle of drama, violence, and paranoia. Others whispered darker things, that maybe she knew something, maybe she was in the middle of deals or secrets no one was supposed to know. And in a world built on half-truths, rumors sometimes sound more convincing than facts. But the harshest reality was this. No matter how many theories surfaced, one truth couldn't be erased. A life had been taken, and 6ix9ine was left to face the storm without her. Every time he walked out now, the cameras didn't see a loudmouth rebel. They saw a haunted man living with ghosts. Every lyric he rapped, every post he made, every step he took, Ariella's absence lingered like a shadow. For some, it was karma catching up, the universe serving justice for years of chaos. For others, it was proof that no matter how far you run from the streets always find you back. 6ix9ine once said in an interview, "You can't scare me. I've seen it all." But that night proved something scarier than fear. Loss, the kind no money, no fame, no clout can ever fix. And, so the story doesn't end with gunshots, it begins there.